Rising Strong, The Journey Toward Emotional Mastery. 1. Analysis and interpretation of findings. Alright, let's dive in. Our research shows that emotional mastery isn't something you achieve overnight, and it's definitely not a straight line from point A to point B. Instead, it's a living, breathing journey that keeps changing as we grow. It's shaped by what's going on inside our minds, how we interact with people around us, and even the environment we live in. People who shared their stories with us pointed out that becoming more self-aware, learning how to regulate their emotions, building resilience, and taking time to reflect were all key parts of their emotional growth. Pretty interesting so far, right? Stay with me because next, we'll connect these experiences to some really cool theories you might recognize. When we stack up these findings against earlier studies, everything clicks. They match Gross's process model of emotion regulation from 1998, which says emotional mastery starts by noticing emotions early and managing them smartly. Our results also vibe with Bandura's social cognitive theory, highlighting how we learn emotional skills by observing others and believing in our ability to grow. Can you think of a time when you picked up a valuable emotional skill just by watching someone you admire? Hold that thought, we're about to see how emotional intelligence ties into all of this. Adding to that, our study confirms what Salovey and Mayer, 1990, proposed about emotional intelligence, or EI. Turns out, EI isn't just a nice-to-have, it's essential for adapting and thriving. Participants who showed stronger EI were the ones who consistently practiced mindfulness, challenged their own thoughts when needed, and connected with others on a deeper, more empathetic level. Ever wondered if small daily practices could actually sharpen your emotional skills over time? Keep listening because we're going to dig even deeper into what these findings mean. 2. Implications of the findings. The big takeaway here? Understanding emotional mastery as an evolving process means we can't just throw quick-fix solutions at it. Real emotional growth needs time, personal context, and lots of room to adapt, not just a one-size-fits-all program. Imagine how different workplaces would be if emotional mastery was nurtured intentionally. Leaders would be more inspiring, teams would collaborate better, and organizations would be way more resilient in tough times. And when it comes to therapy, it's clear that emotional skills training should be tailored to each person's unique experiences and coping styles. Can you picture a world where emotional skills were valued as highly as technical skills at work? Let's dream a little bigger, because emotional mastery might just be the missing link. What's even more exciting is that this research adds a strong voice to the growing conversation. Emotional mastery isn't just about mental health. It's key to life satisfaction and success, no matter where you are, whether in school, in a company, or in a healthcare setting. Pretty inspiring, right? Let's keep the momentum going. Next up, we'll look at what helped or hindered people along their emotional journey. 3. Factors influencing the results. Like anything in life, the journey to emotional mastery is influenced by a bunch of factors. Some that help and some that make it harder. On the bright side, having a strong support network, getting early exposure to emotional education, and feeling genuinely motivated to grow emotionally were huge boosters. These things made the path to mastery smoother and more sustainable. Can you think of someone in your circle who lifts you up emotionally? Maybe give them a silent thank you right now, and let's keep exploring. But not everything was smooth sailing. Some challenges cropped up too. Cultural expectations about expressing emotions and experiences of emotional neglect in early life slowed down the progress for some participants. It was a reminder that even when people are aware of their emotions, growing emotionally can still be a rocky road. It's kind of comforting, right? Knowing that emotional growth isn't about being perfect but about navigating a very real, very human process. Stay tuned because next we'll talk about some important limitations of the study. 4. Research limitations. Even though this study opened up so many fascinating insights into emotional mastery, it's important to acknowledge where we hit some bumps. First off, our participant group wasn't as diverse as we hoped, culturally and socioeconomically, which means we need to be careful about assuming the same results would happen everywhere. It's a good reminder, right? Everyone's emotional journey is shaped by their own unique background, and that's why broader, more inclusive studies matter. Let's keep going. Another thing to keep in mind, We relied on people's self-reports. And as much as we trust them, humans sometimes unintentionally or underestimate their emotional strengths. Also, because emotional mastery unfolds over a lifetime, capturing it in a relatively short research period means we only caught a snapshot, not the whole movie. Ever thought about how much you've changed emotionally over the past 5 years? Imagine how much more we could learn by tracking emotional journeys long-term. 5. Recommendations for future research. Looking ahead, there's so much potential for future studies on emotional mastery. First, we need to bring in more diverse voices, across cultures, backgrounds, and life experiences, to truly understand the many different paths to emotional growth. Wouldn't it be amazing to hear emotional stories from every corner of the world? Let's dream bigger. Second, future research should mix methods. Not just asking people what they feel, but also looking at behavioral or even physiological signs of emotional growth. This way, we get a fuller, richer picture. And third, tracking emotional development across major life stages, like from young adulthood to later years, could show us how emotional mastery evolves with time and experience. Have you ever wondered how your emotional responses might change 10 or 20 years from now? Stay curious, because emotional mastery is a lifelong adventure. 6. Conclusion. If there's one thing this study about the journey toward emotional mastery taught us, it's this: emotional growth isn't about controlling or hiding what we feel. It's about facing our emotions head-on, reflecting, adapting, and building resilience with every step. By placing emotions within a bigger story, one that includes our thoughts, our relationships, and the society we live in, we get a deeper, richer understanding of what it really means to master our emotions. Isn't it powerful to think that emotional mastery is within reach? Not by pretending to be perfect, but by learning, practicing, and rising stronger each time we stumble? Thanks for sticking with me through this journey. Stay tuned, because emotional growth doesn't stop here, and neither do we.